My name is Johnny Knoxville, and this is the High Five.
Yeah, Dunn, what up, brother?
Nerd.
What's up, Squawk?
Dude. What's up, nerds?
Hey guys, what's up? Sebi here, coming at you with something a little different. I'm here with my boy Vin, and Vin, why don't you just go ahead and tell him what you did this weekend?
We played in a Pokemon League Cup at Illustrious Games in Forge, New Jersey, and I took second place on the day, was undefeated through Swiss, and won in top 8, top 4. We couldn't bring it home from the boys, but you know, we did the best we could. We'll definitely take a top 2 and 40 championship points. First cup.
That's awesome. Yo, so you ended up playing Miraidon, and just real quick, what were your matchups for the day?
So round 1, I went against the Charizard. It was best of 1 in Swiss, and then best of 3 top cut. Round 1, I went against Charizard, took the win there. He only got one Charmander set up at a time, and I just kept bossing it up and hitting it, and he just really couldn't get his Zard established. Round 2, went against a Roaring Moon, and it was a pretty good back and forth game. It is a pretty close matchup. We're both trying to go 2-2-2, and I won the dice roll, and I was just able to hit my Miraidons, got my Zapdos out. He didn't really address the Zapdos. I hit a Lost Vacuum on his capsule, which let my Miraidon one-shot it with the Zapdos boost. Took the win there.
Easy.
Round 3, I went against Gardevoir, which is honestly the best matchup for the deck. You're basically playing hands turbo there. I went down. He was on 1 prize. I was on 4, and I owned him to 1 and got a hand set up, and the rest was history there. We were able to claw back. We just weren't finding it early.
That'll absolutely do it.
But we got there. The Iono one went hard, and I bossed up his only Curlia he had on the board, and he lost his draw engine. And was able to take it on from there. Then I went against Goldango, and my boy Iron Hands took 6 prizes in the match. Boss's orders went hard, and Jenny's went hard. I hit the turn 1 Iron Hands attack. I actually lost a dice roll on that one. My opponent only could get 1 gimme down turn 1. Was able to take the knockout with the hands. I got double Jenny hit on it, and then he couldn't find the Goldango fast enough, and Iron Hands just kind of snowballed, and was able to 3 straight turns take the 2 prize knockout with the Iron Hands.
Ooh.
Then
That's
round
deadly.
5, I was 4-0, and basically needed to just intentionally draw the last 2 rounds, and I was guaranteed in the top cut. There was only one other undefeated person at round 5, playing Iron Valley and Entei. We ID'd, good for both of us. Then round 6, there was a Zard player. He just needed the ID to get in, so there wasn't any point in playing it out, so we ID'd there. When the top cut as the 3 seed, the Iron Valiant player was the 2 seed, and there was a Lost Zone Tina player that lost early and won out. He had to play his last round too for his opponent because he got paired down. So he was 5-1, so he was the 1 seed after Swiss. So the top cut was 1 seed Lost Tina, 2 seed Entei Valiant, 3 seed your boy on Miraidon, 4 seed the Zard player who I ID'd with the last round, 5 seed the Goldango player I played earlier in the day. The 6 seed was actually a Chin Pao player playing with the Palkia engine, who was going to be my first round matchup. 7 seed was Pidgeot Snorlax Controls, the stall deck.
Toxic. And
then the 8 seed was Rapid Strike, who I don't like to see because I don't like the punch symbol. Those fighting the guys. All my whole deck's weak to that, so we don't like those.
Definitely not trying to see that.
But he had to make it to the finals to play me, so and it was possible, but he did. The Lost Tina player does work for me. So then I played Chen Pao in top 8, 2-0 win. It's a good matchup for the deck. You're eating up Bridgies.
Bridgerback getting cooked by Iron Hands.
Also bossed up a Bidoof. Iron Hands that.
Yep, draw. There goes the draw engine.
Yeah, it's just those. You want to see Chin Paos and Guardies with this deck. You really do.
Absolutely.
Miraidon one-shots Chin Pao even without a Zapdos boost. And if he couldn't bench his Palkia because he was playing the Palkia engine because it's weak to lightning. And I could really get ahead on that. He's not really going to get the V-Star out if I have a boss in hand. So he had to try and establish the Palkia late, and just too late both games. Then top 4, I went against Entei Valiant. He actually took game 1 on me. That was a good game. 1 prize to 0.
Strong deck.
Yeah, it was, and he had a great day. Like I said, me and him were the only people that didn't take a loss in Swiss. Then game 2, I got it. It was back and forth, battled back, hit a couple good Jennies. I think I got a double Jenny at the end when I needed it on a Raikou to actually be able to swing. And oh no, it was on the Miraidon. And then that matchup's interesting because Entei's 230, and if he doesn't Magma Basin for the damage counters, you need to Zapdos down. It's much like the Roaring Moon matchup because you need to hit that 230 number.
Yeah.
So I basically got the Zapdos down and set up 2 Miraidons and just swing. And obviously I could hands the Moltres or the Bibarel, but didn't go that route. And then game 3 was back and forth, and he whiffed an energy late in the game. He would have had it. We were back and forth, but he was just a turn ahead of me because I won game 2, so he got the pick. So he was just a turn ahead on the swinging on me. Dug pretty deep into his deck, and he just whipped the energy. That's Pokemon sometimes.
Yep,
Gotta
that'll
play to
just
your
happen.
outs.
That'll definitely
Then the
just happen.
finals I played against Zard. To be honest, not a great matchup. And the guy played phenomenally. Played his deck very well. He was prepared. He knew the matchup. He was a Miraidon player too, so he knew exactly what he wanted to do in the matchup, and he executed his game plan. He took game 1, got 2 Zards set up early. Not much I was going to do. Game 2, I got there. He was struggling to establish a second Zard. I just played around 1 on the board. And then game 3, he got 2 Zards pretty early in the game without needing the Pidgeot. And then by the time he established the Pidgeot,
he just did
already far
Zard
enough
things
away.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a good match. Great guy. Honestly, all my opponents today were good people. I had a bunch of great matches with enjoyable people to play with.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was great.
Yeah, the whole event was run really well. Shout out to Illustrious Games. They did a great job with the event. And I think it was 39 people. It was either 36 or 39. I don't fully recall. I didn't take a picture of the standing sheet.
I think it was 39 because there was a bye.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't on numbers, so you're right. So it was 39 because the Entei Valiant player had a bye round when I was actually talking.
Yeah. Man, that guy was good.
Yeah, he was very good. Honestly, there was a lot of good competition there. There was a lot of really strong players, and the guy, like I said, the guy who won the event absolutely deserved it.
Oh yeah, he definitely we played a match and he did very well. He did very well.
I know you were playing that Cloth Valiant deck, not to reveal the spice, but
deck's mids. It might be on the channel later. But, all right, let's get into that deck profile. Let's see what you played, what you cooked with.
All right. I was playing the Path version for a while. I actually took this deck to Charlotte and didn't do great. I hit a couple Rapid Strike players. I hit a Mew player. I banked on not finding Mew today. There's no Drapion on the list, no Spiritomb on the list. If I went to a regional, I'd probably would be playing Drapion at least. Maybe I would play Spiritomb over the Drapion. Not playing the Path version. I thought for best of 1, honestly, the Peony version would be my best call just to try and turbo through. I am still playing the 1/1 Mareep Flaaffy line, though. I will say, Flaaffy did not want to show up to work today. That boy was in the prizes. Either him or Mareep were in the prizes almost every match. It was great every time I established them, and I don't think I'd want the 2-2 line, but there was quite a few times I just could not get to him. But for the list, fairly standard. I was playing the Bravery Charms and more tanky stuff for the mirror and whatnot, but I switched. I saw a lot of deck lists on Twitter, people playing this recently, and a lot of them are playing the EXP share, so I kind of moved my list around a bit, and I'm happy I did.
Yeah, definitely paid off.
Yeah, can't really complain. Played 2 Miraidon. You definitely don't need 3. I think most people are on 2 now. 220 for 3. It's good numbers with the Zapdos. The Zapdos on the board will give it 10 extra damage. Hit 230. That knocks out your Enteis. That knocks out your Roaring Moons. Helps clean up a lot of numbers. Lightning, a good attack. You hit for weakness on some big stuff. Palkia is not really a worry on you. Can't attack the next turn, but you play switch cards. It's only a 1 retreat cost. You're playing Beach Court. You have ways to be mobile. Doesn't even hurt to set up 2. Its ability lets you search 2 lightning Pokemon from the deck. You'll usually get either a Zapdos or Mareep, depending on what you want for the matchup or what you need or what's prized, and then another attacker. Sometimes I'll get another Miraidon and then get 2 more Pokemon. A lot of times you want 2 bench spaces for your support mons, so you don't always get to do that. But this card's just insane. It's literally VIP Pass with
Yeah.
a 220 attack. That's
Yeah.
fairly efficient on 1 retreat. It's crazy.
Even post rotation, this deck's still gonna be running around. Just
So there'll be a way to play it. I don't know what it is yet.
I don't know
The
how
current
good it's gonna
version
be, but
loses a lot.
it's definitely still playable. With that effect alone, like it just does what you need it to do.
If nothing else, it says search 2 Iron Hands post rotation. So maybe there's something there. I mean, I love this deck. I was playing Zard for the last few weeks after Charlotte, and I was like, I want to give Miraidon one more run, and I'm happy I did. The deck's really enjoyable to play, and this card is front and center. Obviously, Iron Hands is probably the best card in the deck from an attacking standpoint into the current meta, but this thing just is the engine that lets the deck run.
Oh yeah.
Then, of course, you got to play Iron Hands. You got to play 2 Iron Hands.
Oh yeah.
Card's crazy. Taking extra prize cards. Taking extra prize cards on a lot of stuff, too, that you wouldn't even think. If you DTE it, doesn't one-shot the Bibarel, but it does knock out the Bidoofs. Does knock out the Baxes, the baby Baxes with the Frigibax. It does knock out the Curlias and the Ralts. A lot of the baby supports, a lot of early Evos. You can hit Charmanders with it, hit Pidgeys with it. And you don't always even need a DT. A lot of times, just so you get some good Jenny hits, you can ramp it up with 4 lightning energy. Then you're hitting for the full 120. And that's 240 into Lumineon. That's 240 into Squawk. Can really fix your prize mapping against some matchups where they're trying to throw you a 1 prizer. This is why the deck runs right now. This card, a lot of people thought Chin Pow is going to be the best way to play this deck or this card, but it works so well. You're playing the 4 Jennies, you're playing a high energy count. And arm press for 160 for 3. Not the best number, but it gets there sometimes. It does knock out the Bibarels, even if you have a DTE on it. Obviously, you still need the 2 lightning energy, but if you set up for the amp and it sticks on the board, you can arm press for 140, and that's going to knock out some stuff as well. You're still hitting weakness on stuff like Palkia, stuff like Squawk, stuff like Lumineon. This card's insane, and this card's only going to be a force in the format until it rotates out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's 230, which is big. It's big. It's got a 4 retreat cost, which is not great. But you play multiple switch cards in the deck.
Yeah, jet energies, like there's a lot of ways to get it. No, I know you don't play it, but I'm saying like even for other decks, like even we're losing Escape Rope, but the 4 retreat cost just was never a problem. You can always get rid of it.
And if you're saying you're playing if this turns into more of a future box Iron Hands Turbo, you're probably gonna play the Baton to float the energy, but you can always put a booster capsule on this thing, and then it's got free retreat.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. This card makes the deck run. For the Vs, because you need your Sealstone targets, Raikou V. Raichu V is your big hitter. This is how you knock out things like Charizard. This is how you knock out the really big Pokemon. You can get a knockout on a Guillotine V-Star with this thing. This just gets you there. This is the only card in your deck that really can hit those tough numbers. It's not the best because you really only get 1 shot at doing it, because once you drop all your energy off your board, you're at best getting 1 back a turn. So you're not setting it. You're probably not knocking out 2 Zards, but in the Zard matchup, this lets you get 1 knockout on the Zard, and you have to kind of build your prize map around that. I thought about playing 2 of this and no Raikou, just because you do want to see this in some matchups, and if you prize it, you're in a bad spot. But Raikou was great for me today. I know I fleet-footed turn 1 for a VIP pass, and that let all the Jennies in my hand turn on because I didn't have any other Mons in my opening hand. Hits for a max 220, 230 with Zapdos if both benches are full. They can play around it, but what this thing's really good for is being a 2 energy attacker. It's your most efficient attacker in the deck. And once they respond to your Iron Hands, you're probably not setting up a second Iron Hands often with 4 energy cost. you have XP shares in Flaaffy, so maybe you're floating 2 energy back to it, and you might get a second one. But oftentimes into those one prize decks, this gives you more staying power. So if you're expecting a lot of Lost Box, this is still a good attacker in those matchups. So, and you need the Sealstone targets. So oftentimes off the Miraidon, unless I'm going for the turn 1 hands, I'll often get one of these two. Just so I have the seal, and it's typically Raikou. Just so you have the Sealstone target. This thing does draw a card in the active, and that comes up a ton. Let you dig one more card deep, which when you're peonying your hand away, you want as many cards as you can see off that, trying to find whatever the missing piece is. So play one of each of those. Then we do play the Sheeps, do play my boy Mareep, and the correct Flaaffy art with the Elise.
Perfect.
Dynamotor's insane. Flaaffy's my 1 retreat cost. Sometimes you just got to throw him out there to take the L, but if you can get this to stick and you're not worried about a Greninja, the energy floating, you don't have a lot of ways to get your energy back, and a lot of your attackers aren't the most efficient. Iron Hands attacks for 3 or 4. Miraidon attacks for 3. If you're attacking with the Mew in some matchups, that's attacking 3.
3.
Raichu, you just need energy on your board somewhere. The one worry with this card is this card does have a 2 retreat cost, and Beach Court only lets you move basics. So if you're in a good position, oftentimes you want to put the energy right just on itself. If you don't need the energy somewhere else to set up another attacker, putting energy on this, so you just need one more energy attachment to get it out of the active, because it can only attach to the bench. So if they boss it up, you can't Dynamotor to itself. So oftentimes you'll do that. The other basic, or the other non-rule box lightning Pokemon I play is Zapdos. It's got an attack for 3, 110, which does come up in the Snorlax matchup. It does knock out Mimikyu without a charm. It does give you a single prizer. But the big thing it does is your basic lightning Pokemon, except Zapdos, so this thing ain't hitting for 120, get extra 10 damage. So that's how you hit the 230 in the Entei. That's how you hit the 230 in the Moon. It just is a lot of numbers in the deck. Also, oftentimes when you go into matches like Roaring Moon or even Chin Pao, you don't really want to let them take the first 2 prize knockout. So usually one of these will end up in your active if you're forced to go first. More in the Roaring Moon. You usually won't get attacked by Chin Pao going first on their first turn. They got to set up their backs calibered before they're really going to put pressure. But this is more important than the Mareep and the Flaaffy in the Moon matchup, for example. So oftentimes I'll push this up, and you make them have one more card. So that's my non-rule box, the 1 prizers in the deck. But one of these 2 was prized almost all day. I established it a couple times, and when I got it on the board, it was great. But a lot of times, Mareep was a sacrificial lamb, for lack of a better pun to use. When prize it, you open it before you get to your first prize one game. Before I got to do a deck search, and I benched it to get my hand away to Peony, so that I could get a VIP pass. I do my deck search, and there's no Flaaffy in there. I'm like, all right, well, this thing's going to the active. But I mean, these cards are great. I mean, I was playing at Charlotte. I played no Flaaffy line. I was playing the 0-0. I was playing the PAF build for a while, which is 2-2 of this. It's just hard to find a space to put 2-2 if you're going to play the turbo cards. But this is great. I love the Flaaffy line, and Zapdos is definitely needed in the deck. And then for the support mom, got 2 Mew and the 1 Squawk. You want to get this down every game. Peony, you dump your hand, and if you don't find the Mew you're in a bad spot. The match I dropped against Entei Valiant, I couldn't get the Mew down, and it was difficult. I couldn't really draw out of my situation. Let you draw to 3 cards to hand. It also has a good attack. I didn't play against Lost Tina today, or any form of Tina, but genome hacking for 3 energy copies the opponent's attack, lets you copy Giga Impact from the Tina. That's 280. So also you can use Mimikyu's attack, and even though Mimikyu can't take damage from rule box Pokemon, this places the damage counter. So this will place 7 damage counters. So if they don't have Bravery Charm on it, that just knocks it out. And either way, it's 2-shotting it. So it gives you another response there. So you're not super worried if they Erica's Invitation, the Mew out of your hand. Squawk, that could be scary. Motivate's pretty good. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, even in that matchup, because you're getting your energy ramped up and you just kind of want to get energy on all your Pokemon in that matchup. But I do try and get both of these down. Oftentimes, I want to have a Miraidon before I Peony turn 1. Get whatever lightning Pokemon I'm going to go with. Hopefully one of them's in the active, whether it's Miraidon or something with a 1 retreat cost that I can pivot out of easy. And then I'll VIP pass for both of these guys. So then once you dump your hand with Peony, you could see at least 9 cards between the draw to 3 and the discard for 6. Minimum
Yeah.
of 9 cards. Depending on how you sequence it, if you Squawk first or Mew first, that numbers can change. Raikou can let you see another card deep. But let you find, say, you need to find 1 more energy, let you dig 9 cards deeper for the switch card or the energy. Ideally, you're searching for the energy or for the switch card and the Jenny, but if you're going first, oftentimes I'm getting VIP just to set up my board. So I'm digging for something, whether it's another Jenny or another way to an energy. So that's my support mon lineup. This I wouldn't change. I don't know if I'd make a change to the Pokemon lineup, honestly. It worked very well for me. Like I said, I went to a regional, I would find a spot probably for a Drapion. Spirit Tomb is great, but a lot of people are playing some amount of Fusion Energy. And if you Drapion and you could Super Rod your Drapion back and use it twice, you're probably winning that game. Because you can take a knockout pretty easy on the Insect. That's the Pokemon lineup. Then for ball search, we're playing 4 Ultra Ball. It says search Miraidon if you need it, search Flaaffy if you need it, search Mew if you need it, turn 1, search Squawk if you need it. Finds what you need.
Yeah. Not really much
Then I'm
else to
playing
say.
2 Nest Ball. Nest Ball's good. Sometimes you Peony late in the game for a Nest Ball even.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you're low on Jennies and whatnot. Also early game, it can bench to Squawk. You don't need to play Squawk from your hand, so Nest Ball's got a lot of versatility in the deck. Searches Miraidon. Searches whatever piece you're missing. Say you need to get 3 Lightning Mons. Miraidon only gets you 2. The Nest Ball can get you the 3rd one. Also, it's a turn 1 either Squawk or Miraidon. Or Mew. That's the end of the day. Because Miraidon only gets Lightning Mons, so you do need ways to get to your utility Mons. And of course, because we're spicy, we play 1 VIP pass.
Oh my god. Yeah, turn
You
it off.
search it with Peony.
I know.
This card is VIP pass at home.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but this search is Mew Squawk too. So, oftentimes turn 1 when you get the Peony. You want to go second in this deck. The only times I'd try not to go second are against Guardy or against Baxcalibur, because they need to set up their guys. And even going first, you can slow roll on Iron Hands. They're not gonna be keeping the little guys off the board. It gives you an extra turn to even set up your Iron Hands. But having this when you can Peony it, and
Oh yeah,
I
for
drew this
sure.
a lot in Top Cut. I'm not even gonna front. This card was glued to my hand in Top Cut, which was wonderful.
Love that.
Because then I didn't need to Peony it. I could just get double Jenny or Jenny Beach Court or whatever I need in that situation. So that's my ball search. I know VIP Pass isn't a ball card, but let's be honest. It says search 2 Pokemon and put them on the bench.
Yeah. It's just better than Nest Ball.
Best card in the deck. No argument. Card went unbelievably hard for me today.
So you hit
The amount of time.
you hit almost all. Was there a point in time where you didn't hit any?
Yeah, 100%. The match I lost against Entei Valiant, I whiffed 1, but I was already in a losing position at that point. He already pretty much had checkmated me that game. But even in that match, like I'd hit a double earlier in that game. Against Zard, I whiffed, but again, typically when I whiffed, I was in losing situations. Early game, you're playing so many energy, it's very rare you straight whiff. Charlotte, I whiffed a bit more than I would have liked with it, but yesterday this card was very good to me. Usually hitting at least 1. You're playing enough energy where you're usually hitting at least 1 energy.
Yeah, you should hit at least 1.
And that's the nice thing about something like having like a Miraidon and a Raikou on your bench. If you only hit 1, you're not gonna have another way to an energy. You can put it on the Raikou, and you're still swinging early. And you don't want to miss an attack with the deck if you can help it, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Fire card.
best card in the deck. if you don't know what it does, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck and you attach up to 2 lightning energies you find there to your bench lightning Pokemon. So 2/3 of the Miraidon attack cost can be potentially the entire Raikou attack cost. Can make it so your Flaaffy is safe if you have extra energy off of it in matchups where you need the Zapdos to attack when you need the single prize for the trade. It's a very efficient way to set that
Yeah,
up.
it just sets everything up, really.
Let's Raichu, more energy on the board. Doesn't necessarily even be on Raichu. One thing I should mention about this card, if you're going first, you can attach an energy and fast charge, and that puts an extra energy on it. They're probably not taking this out, depending on what you're playing against. Obviously, if it's a deck like Roaring Moon, it's not a safe play. But I did fast charge once today, so
Did it win you the game?
I won that game.
Oh,
I don't think it
okay.
was the difference.
Nah, but it
Big thing though
still
is
won though.
this is how you make sure you get this turn 1. You peony for 1 or 2 of these even. If you get
Oh, yeah.
and you have an attachment, you can just get there. Especially if you're able to attach a DT. I got greedy a bunch and attached an energy to this, like just a regular lightning energy, and I didn't get punished for it a ton. But you could seal stone for a DTE. You hit a double on the DT on this thing, and you're hitting for 100 for 2 prizes and stuff like Kirlias, stuff like Ralt, stuff like Bridgebacks, Bidoof. You're knocking all that stuff out for an extra prize, and that's really how you get ahead. So Electric Generator, you're playing 4. I don't think there's any question there. You're playing 4 in the deck.
Yep.
Then playing 1 Rod. Card says shuffle back.
You gotta.
Energy. If I have to discard my hand often with this deck and I discard a Flaaffy or a Mareep early, this can let me get it back. A lot of times late game I'll draw into this, or I'll even peony for it if I'm in a spot where I just need to get 1 energy on board. I'll get Jenny Super Rod, and I'll just try and buff my odds of finding it, and I'll put 3 energy back. You always have energy in your discard in the mid game of this deck, otherwise you're not playing because you're trying to trade knockouts.
That's just a staple. That's just a staple.
Yeah, the card's just good. Get you your Pokemon back, get your energy back. You don't like Path to the Peak.
Yeah.
You also don't like Ancient Booster Capsule. So, and if people get greedy and stick their Seal Stone down, it's not the worst thing to knock off either. I only play the 1. I actually would like to play a second one, but there's really not space for it. You can find it. I did actually Seal Stone for this 1.
Ooh.
And that got rid of the path that was play.
Strong.
So
Definitely strong. It's a good tech card.
Oh no, it wasn't path. I'm sorry. It was an Ancient Booster Capsule. And that was how I got the 3rd knockout on a Roaring Moon. I vacuumed away a capsule. So it did come up.
Nice. Yeah, actually, yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yep.
Switch cards. We played 2 Switch and 1 Rope. We don't play Switch Cart because every other Pokemon's in our basic, but the 2 things we're most scared to get lost in the active are Iron Hands, which we could Switch Cart, but it's this guy, Flaaffy. It's not a basic. You can't Switch Cart it out, so you play the regular switches, and they're great. Peonied for game. He's like, let me see the Switch card. Peonied had the Switch in deck. Rope can help push things out of the active. They have a booster on the moon, and they have nothing but 2 prizes set up. I mean, you rope, you push one of the ones you know you can one-shot, whether it's a Moltres or a Moon Up. The card's just good.
Yeah, it's a great card. It will be missed.
I've thought about playing 2 and 1, but oftentimes you're knocking out whatever's in the active. You're trading back and forth. So I just like the 2 switch, but I can see the argument. And Charlotte, I was playing 2 rope, so I can see the argument either way. Sometimes you want, like, they have a baby in the active, and they're banking on you not finding the turn 1 hands. The rope, if the rope is your switch option, you could be in a bad spot. And then for the stadiums, also has 2 more switch cards in them. Play 2 Beach Court. Basic Pokemon have 1 less retreat cost.
Pretty good.
Miraidon, 1 retreat cost. Raichu, 1 retreat cost. Mareep, 1 retreat cost. Squawk, 1 retreat cost. Mew's obviously a free retreater. This is your pivot. Raikou, 1 retreat cost. Doesn't help a ton with the hands, obviously.
I was gonna
Zapdos is a 2
say,
or
I
3
mean,
cost. I did
even
get bossed on the
mhm,
Zapdos to try and stall me in one game, and Beach Court plus an energy let me retreat this. So
mhm,
it did come up there. The 2 makes it more feasible. You just need the singular attachment. But card's good. It gives you flexibility. Oftentimes I'll get this off Peony because it's also a bounce. Good bounce on stuff like Magma Basin. Entei's doesn't have a 1 retreat cost, so they're not necessarily retreating the Entei's. And if they don't have the capsule, for example, on the Valiants, they're probably not retreating that for free. They're gonna have to burn a switch card. And decks like
yeah,
that play a lot of switch cards, but it's a good
it's good to
bounce.
outpath too.
Yeah. That's the main reason. I mean, you want path outs. I play the vacuum, I
Mm,
play 2 courts, and I play the 1 town store. Um,
good
you
too.
want to see your tools. You need to see. This is the only way I have to actually search Sealstone in the deck besides like Peony.
Mm,
Um, and I mean the XP shares are important. Even when I was playing Bravery Charms, I was playing this card because just it's nice to get them in the on the
it's good
board. You don't
deck
want to draw into
thinning
them late
and
game.
just a
Exactly.
bounce.
And then that's 4 path bounces. And once your engine goes, the issue is Miraidon can play path because once they get set up turn 1, they're usually good. But this card's the problem.
Mhm.
You need the Mew draws, so you need the path bounces. And Town Store just helps you get to all your tools. For tools, I played 2 XP share. These were Bravery Charms. I swapped to these, and they went phenomenally today. Would probably never go back to Bravery Charm only. I would like to fit a Bravery Charm in the deck because it's really good into the mirror because it keeps your stuff out of their Miraidon's range. It's decent into Zard actually on your Iron Hands if you get a turn 1 Iron Hands. If you have a Charm on it, that pushes it to 280, and they are not knocking out your Iron Hands on the crackback because Zard goes from 180 to 210 to 240.
Mhm.
Hands says 230. So Bravery Charm pushes it out of hands range. They could Vit ban it or Defiance ban it or whatever you want to use, but makes them need one more card, whether it's a vacuum or whatnot. So I do like the Bravery Charm in the deck, but this card went so strong for me today, just floating energy. It helped me chain my Miraidons. I was able to retreat a Miraidon, drop an energy into the other one and attack with it. That Miraidon had 2 energy, and with the Flaaffy on the bench and an energy in hand, they would have needed a lot to keep me from getting another swing with the Miraidon in the Moon matchup and the Chimpow matchup. I think that was how it went down in both those games. So this card is great. Lets you, when your Pokemon's knocked out, lets you float an energy to the whatever has the XP share on it. And your Miraidon has 3 energy when it's attacking. Raikou has 2. Hands has 4. You have a lot of energy on your attacker, and typically they're responding to your attacker. So it's very important to make sure you have ways to set up chain attackers. So the XP share is great. And I play the 1 Sealstone. Search DTE, search boss's orders, search research if you have an empty hand. Search Jenny if you just need 1 more energy and you got
Search
a
is
thin deck.
anything. It
Yeah, I mean,
just gets you the
card's
win.
insane. Card's just insane. Search a card in your deck. What can go wrong with that? And you're not playing any V Star, so you're not using a
Yeah,
V Star power. The
exactly.
supporter counts, and please forgive me for the mixed matched rarities. I only have 2 full art Peonies.
Get him out of
I was
here.
playing a hybrid build in Charlotte that only played, I think, 2 or 3 of these. And I mean, you want to play this thing at 4. This card makes this version of the deck run. Turn 1, you play all the cards in your hand that you can. Peony the rest of your hand away. Search Jenny VIP, Jenny Beach Court, Jenny, whatever you need to get there. And then you dump your hand, which would normally be a problem. But turn 1, if you do it, you can reload with the Squawk, which will give you fresh 6. You have the Mew for 3, and then every turn, even if you struggle to reestablish, you'll probably take some prizes if you're going second off that. But even if you struggle to reestablish, or you do a late game Peony and you dump your hand, the Mew just giving you the draws every turn. But this card searches any trainer card. That includes stadiums if you need the beach court. That's VIP pass. That's generator. If you need a ball, it's a regular ball
Just
cards late game. Search Nest Ball. Searches 2 trainer cards from your deck, but at the cost of discarding your hand. So that's why I play the 2 Mew. If you prize the Mew, you're in a bad spot because you are dumping your hand a lot throughout the game. And it's not like research where you're dumping your hand and you're getting a fresh 7. You don't get any cards but what you draw, and you're not playing any real draw cards in the deck, so you need this, or any trainer cards that'll let you draw. So for Peony, love the card. I'm sad it's rotating.
Yeah, it will be
What are you gonna
missed.
do?
That card's
But
really
I
good.
mean, what are you gonna do? You got to play the one research. I've seal stoned for this before. I mean, having the one's nice. Sometimes you just want to replenish.
It's just draw
in
7.
top 4, one of the games, I dumped my whole hand, or it might have been even the finals. I dumped my whole hand, and this was the last card in my hand. I researched. I mean, it's just draw 7 coming from other card games. This card existing is remarkable, and you got to play the. That's the best art of the card. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
To round out the draw supporters, I play the one Iono. Just a little late game disruption. If I seal stone sometimes. So this card got me there. I seal stoned for it. At Town Store seal stoned the Guardy player to 1, which is a bad matchup for him, but I just wasn't finding anything. I wasn't finding attackers. And by the time I was finally able to establish an Iron Hands, he was on 1 prize. I had knocked out a Zacian early in the game, I believe. And then I Iono'd him the 1 and got a hands knockout, and he couldn't respond. But I did not have a way to hands him again because he had his Guardy EX in the active, and I didn't have a supporter. But I was able to get the Raichu knockout on that Guardy EX. So
That's just the
we got
comeback
there.
card. It's just a great comeback card.
I don't like playing one-ofs like this, especially ones that aren't really searchable. I'm not playing Lumineon in the deck, but when this card resolves, I mean, and this is my favorite art. I opened a lot of the new set to try and pull this one, but I ended up just biting the bullet and buying it.
Yeah, it's a great art.
And then, I mean, you're playing a 2/2/2 deck. I'm not playing any catchers. You want to see boss. Ideally, I'm resolving boss at least twice in any game.
Yeah, and like you're always ahead on prizes, really.
Yeah, exactly. Counter catcher's tough in this deck because I want to go second and I want to take an early prize if I can help it with Iron Hands, which is guaranteeing it 2 prizes. So counter catcher isn't. If I'm resolving counter catcher, I'm in a bad spot in the match.
And at that point, you'd rather just have the Iono get you there.
This lets me also hands what I want to hands. If he has a Bidoof down, I can make sure I get that Bidoof up. Round 1 against Charizard, I was able to boss up his Mander. And then he had his Radzard in the active, which I couldn't hands. He knocked out the hands, but it wasn't going to get me the. I forget what I had in the active. I think it was a Raikou, and I didn't have enough Pokemon for the Raikou to knock off the Radzard. Oh, I apologize. Bossed up the Rotom and knocked it out with the Miraidon. That's what it was. But it lets you get what you need. You want to go 2/2/2 with this deck, and Boss's Orders let you find exactly what you're looking for and what you're trying to attack. So that's important with this deck. Especially for a deck that has some hard cap damage outside of your Raichu. You're pretty much capped at 230. So the bigger Pokemon are harder for you to hit, but everyone's playing utility mon. Zard's playing some combination of Rotom and Lumineon. They're probably going to have one of them benched if they don't collapse it away.
Plus the Pidgeot. Getting rid of the Pidgeot's important.
In that matchup especially, yeah, bossing up the Pidgeot and getting it out of there because you're not knocking out the Zard more than once. And oftentimes your prize map's just working around the Zard. Maybe an Iron Hands knockout, a Rotom knockout, and a Pidgeot knockout. That's oftentimes the way I get there in that matchup. It's a tough matchup, but that's kind of the prize map I plan out in my head oftentimes, and this lets you get there. 3 boss, I wouldn't play 2 in a catcher or 2 in counter catcher. For the energy, play the 1 DTE. Attach the Zapdos retreat, attach the Flaaffy retreat. Those are relevant things. But
also just helps ramp the Iron Hands maybe
it's
later.
for the hand. It's for the hands. Even like on one game I had this in my opening hand. I got the hands out. I attached that to the hands, and then I peonied away my hand and hit a double Jenny, and that's the hands is just powered up.
That's just 2 prizes right there.
Sometimes one game I got greedy. I attached a lightning energy and I ended up drawing into this off the squawk. And I actually missed the hands knockout that game. Turn 1, but I was still able to get there. But I think that was the Guardy game. But don't quote me on that. But I play 1 DT. And then, of course, you're playing Electric Generator. You want a lot of energy in your deck. We're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16 secret rare lightning energy. The gold secret border looks so good. They're sparkling. These are so clean.
Bling bling boy out
Was that
here.
worth all the money I spent on them? Probably not. But there's something about when you Jenny into these secret rare lightning energies, they feel good. But the regular common ones that you find in Energy Nary pack, it does the same. You don't need. But I ran 16 of them. I ran 17 energy in total. Just help me get there at the end of the day.
Would you go any
you want-
lower?
I've seen some decks run 15. I probably wouldn't. I was running 2 DTE. I was running at one point. This was a second DTE. I was running 15-2 DTE just to try and really cement getting that Iron Hands. But oftentimes I end up seal stoning for the DTE. You can find it. That's the only real way to find it. But with the Town Store in your deck as well, you can get there. I would probably wouldn't mess with the energy count with the Peony build. If I was playing the Path build, I would drop it down a bit.
Yeah, you gotta free up some space.
Yeah, and you're playing the 2/2 Flaaffy line, so you're floating your energy more. Once your energy's out of your deck, you're probably not getting much of it back. XP share keeps it on the board, but once it leaves the board, you got the 1 Flaaffy that it's not always the easiest to establish with the 1/1 line. You got the rod, like I said. You're oftentimes just putting 3 energy back just to try to help your odds on it, but that's the deck.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't know what I would change, really. Honestly, it worked really well for me today. I don't know if I'm playing this deck anymore. Like I said, I've been testing Zard a lot, and Zard's a bit more consistent. But I wanted to give this deck one more run, especially in a best-of-1 format where I can really get the juice quick, and I could steal games and put a lot of pressure on. And it was a great call today. I'm happy with my decision.
yeah, man. I mean, you killed it. You got 2nd place. It's unfortunate you couldn't get 1st, but hey,
Shout out
man.
to the guy who won. He really played well. He earned that win. I played a good match. He played a good match, and he got there. So I'm happy with how I did. It was my first cup, so
Yeah.
I'll definitely take a 2nd place.
2nd
finish.
place for the 1st cup. I mean, that's pretty good. And shout out to the winner too. Yeah, he did great. He did his thing, and he got that dub.
And everyone in Top Cut, all my matches today were good. All my opponents were good people. There was no issues with anyone I played with, and looking forward to playing them all again in the future. Couple shout outs. Shout out to the testing group. Man behind the camera, Sevi.
Shout out to the boys.
Smacking me with Cloth with this deck, that fighting weakness. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Or when I play Zard, you smack me with the Electrode. So, I mean, you humble me a bit with those. So that's important. It's important. My boy Moss, who me and him play a ton of card games, and we test a ton. We've tested a bunch in person, tested a bunch online, bunch on webcam, testing different matchups. It's really made me feel comfortable in the Lost Box and the Tina matchup, for example. I didn't go against those today, but he's helped me a lot there. And then my boy Zach playing Moon a ton and giving me a lot of testing with Moon and some Chimpao games, and really making me see a lot of decks. So testing group giving me paper games with a lot of different decks is really what I want, and it's really helped me accomplish what I wanted to do. So shout out to the boys. Shout out to Illustrious Games for hosting a great cup, and shout out to my opponents for being great, and shout out to the man of the hour, Miraidon. Really got me there. Definitely my favorite card in Pokemon currently, and even if I don't pick this deck up again, I let it ride out with this finish. This will always be one of my favorite decks in the game.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a lot of fun, and I really wonder what it's gonna happen to it post rotation. I mean, I think it's still gonna be playable. I mean, we'll see. We'll definitely see. OCG, they play a lot different than us, so I'm excited to see what it can
that
do.
Yu-Gi-Oh player, and you peeked out there for a
Yeah,
second.
that OCG. But
There's a way to play it. Maybe it's with Regieleki. Maybe it's just using this thing to to turbo out Iron Hands because you're going to be playing Jennies anyway, and it's still just a 220 attacker for 3. Hits a little bigger numbers than the Hands does. So maybe that's how you play it. There'll be a way, I think, that this deck stays in the format in some shape or form. Might take a smarter person than me to crack the list, though.
All right. Always humble as always. And don't forget, guys, it's Fel Jones at Fel Jones. Twitch TV. Catch him streaming. Maybe catch him playing a little Pokemon.
Who knows? Who knows? And shout out to the channel, Sebi. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you change in the deck. If you tell me what you think passed better than this version of the deck. I think it probably maybe is for a best of 3. Tell me what you think about the deck. Tell me any changes you'd want to make. Let's see those comments
And
light
remember
up.
to let us know that we're completely wrong on everything, and you would have played it so much better. You know, just the classic YouTube
algorithm.
comments. It's good for the algorithm. We need the
And slam
the
that
difference.
thumbs up button, the like
Yep.
button, whatever it's called now.
Yeah, who knows? It's the feel good button. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll definitely be trying to post more. Definitely going to be doing a little more Pokemon than One Piece. So if you're looking for that, hey, here we are. And thank you, Vin, for giving us your deck profile. And everyone have a great day. Peace.